Guys, I cannot trust my Wi-Fi anymore. It's extremely unreliable.
We learned in our Scrim into practice. You can probably guess what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to take this data object that contains the render character function, and I want you to destructure it so that we don't have to keep writing the word.
Right, so we do data, cons, data, cons, and open this. We do element, ID, commas, name, commas, avatar. No worry, don't you worry. Dice roll, and then equal to data. Alright, we don't do this, nor this, and then this. Now run. Data is not defined. What a scam. Element ID, name, dice roll. What the fuck? Why is it not updating? What? Element ID. Oh, here we do hero. And then const. Yeah, shut up. Same things. Boop. Equal monster. Alright, now we try. Element ID has already been declared. Oh, I don't think it's like this. It's supposed to be data. But like, why is it not working? I think we would have to do it inside renders later. Try it. Boom! Let's go, baby!
Pause now, have a go at that, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, that wasn't too painful. I'll see you in the next screen.
Now this part is confusing. Eight.
I've added dice count to our objects here and here, and that is because our characters are going to have more than one dice potentially. They're going to have between 1 and 3 dice. So what we need to do is render out the allotted number of dice for each character. At the moment, the wizard is going to have 3 dice, and the orc is only going to have 1 dice, which hardly seems fair, but there we are. So this is your challenge. We need to set up a let called dice.html, and we're going to initialize it with an empty string. Next, we need to use a for loop to update dice.html with the number of dice needed specified by the dice count property in the object. Each dice is going to use this string of HTML as its template, and that means for now, each dice is just going to show the number 6. We will change that, of course, later. The last thing we need to do is to swap out the dice roll variable for our dice HTML. Be a bit careful when there's a couple of pitfalls in this. Give it your best shot, and I will see you.
Alright, so we do this. Let's see what's going to be. Right, so first of all, we would want a let dice HTML equal with an empty string, right, and then use a for loops for let I equal 0, promise I less than dice count, then commas I plus plus. Put some music on the soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. So that it contain the HTML of our dice. Contain HTML of your dice. What? Why is it like this? Use a for loop to update dice HTML so that it contains the HTML of our dice. That for the number of dice needed is specified in the dice count property of the object. What a fucking scumbag. Each dice should have the following HTML. Oh, okay. We do document dot get element by ID by class name. Going to have a class name called dice. Then it's going to in the HTML equal and then this is going to be here, right? Isn't it? Let's just call it 6 first. 6. Swap out the dice roll variable for dice HTML. So how can we do this? Dice HTML. How do we do this? Swap out the dice roll variable for dice HTML and the template. Let's see, but it's not going to work. Why is not going to work? Because we are assigning data in here. Has to be indented so that it's going to be understandable by the computer. And then here, I don't think this is going to be right. Isn't it? Dice count is not defined. I think we have to add dice count, dice HTML. Okay, dice HTML is equal to none. Now it's nothing because dice HTML. Should I do this? Do I have to assign dice HTML equal to document dot get element by ID by class name going to be dice. Then we display this bitch, this stuff, dice HTML as this, and then we do. Let's see what happened. Object. Do we change it from dice roll to dice count? What a scumbag. It's okay, it's okay. Not dice HTML. Do I have to put it inside? This for loop has to be including this. Let's see what is that going to do. Still not going to work. Now let's see what I did before. I basically call the same thing, do the same things. Oh, dice roll in this. No, it's not. And then how you do dice HTML? Is it going to run? Dice count is not defined. I'm assuming you have dice count here. Now this is better, but I just don't know what is going to be here. Why HTML is not working? Why this part is not displayed? Is it because of this part is already displayed? Huh. Okay. Watch for some hint.
An empty string. Now our for loop, so we're going to say for I, we increment I. We want to add to it, so we're going to use plus equals, and then I'm going to
Plus equal.
take this string of HTML, which is acting as a template. I'm going to put it inside backticks, and there we are. The next thing we need to do is come down to dice roll, and we want to swap that out for dice HTML. But that could cause us some problems because look what's happening here. We are rendering the whole div with its CSS class. And now we've also got that here. So we're going to end up with 3 dice for the wizard inside a div essentially holding the same class name. That's a bit strange. So actually this here is surplus to requirements. Let's take it away. And if we save that, I think we're actually going to run into a problem. Let's see what happens. And it tells us dice count is not defined. So what didn't we do? We didn't destructure dice count. So let's do that now. Here. And there we are. The wizard has got 3 6s. The orc has got 1 6. We'll sort out those numbers shortly. I'll see you in the next scrim.
Okay, now I understand why. Has to remember. Keep forgetting that for loops you have to do plus equal.
replicate rolling the dice. But for now, let's replace our single dice roll value that we've got here with an array. Let's imagine the wizard has rolled a 3, a 1, and a 4, and that the orc has rolled 2. If we now save this code, of course we see nothing's changed. And if we look down at the for loop, we can easily see why. This for loop is only using dice count. We're not actually using this dice roll array at the moment anywhere. So this for loop is just looping through dice count number of times, that's 3 for the wizard, 1 for the orc, and rendering a 6 every time. So your challenge is this. Can you update this for loop so it uses a value from the new dice roll array to render out the dice so that the wizard's dice have a value of 3, 1, and 4?
Alright, let's do this. Or computer going to be hash, going to be dice roll. Let's remembering should use dice roll dot length. Try this. Why is it printing out 3 of them? New dice roll array to render out the dice so that wizard's dice have a value 3, 1, 4, and the orc. Because it's keep doing this until it finish. What do we do here? Dice roll. 2, 2, and 1. Not going to work. Dice count is good. Now, why is it keep repeating it? Is the problem. Why is it keep repeating? So it's count 1 and then it's automatically print out this. Oh, so we do I. Forgot about that.
For loops, so does the likelihood with this exactly the same thing. So absolutely fair enough if you did it that way. This works, and that's good. But this actual scrim is called the problem with for loops, and so that might have given you a clue that I'm not too happy with this. For loops are repetitive, clunky, and messy. They can be quite hard to read unless you comment them, which can get annoying. And they almost always involve setting up a new variable of some kind and then updating its value or mutating it in some way.
Mutating.
We start with an empty string and then we update it on each loop. None of this is the end of the world, but as the complexity rises, so does the likelihood of unwanted side effects and bugs. And there are easier ways to do this, more modern ways. So, in the spirit of first make it work, then make it better, well, we've made it work. So in the next scrim, we'll look at one way of making it much better, and then we can wave goodbye to our for loop. I'll see you there.
Aside that map.
So if this was an array of cars, we might call this parameter car. Well, this is an array of costs in euros, so I'm going to call this parameter euro cost. Now let's open up the body of this function with the curly braces, and just as an experiment, let's just log out what this parameter euro cost actually is. And I'm just going to comment out this other console log. And as I hit save, if we open up the console, what we see is that we're basically getting a copy of this original array, except no longer an array. We're just getting it logged out element by element. So we can see really clearly that Eurocost is just representing each individual element of the array. The .map method is iterating over the array and logging out each individual item in turn. Now let's do the maths. So if we multiply euro cost by the exchange rate, let's hit save. And again, down in the console, we can now see that we have got our figures in euros. And now I'm going to array. It's the same length as the original array. And each element in the array has had this function called on it. So now each cost in euro is now converted to a cost in dollars. I've got a challenge with the .map method waiting for you in the next scrim. When you're ready, I'll see you there. It's time for a challenge. We've present each element in the array in turn. Now this is an array of guests, so let's call each individual one guest. Now inside the body of the function, we just want to return this HTML string that we've got here. And we do need to make one change because this code here was coming from the for loop. So let's replace that with
Guest.
Now I can delete the for loop and let's hit save. And it is working. And that is fantastic because you have used the .map method to iterate over an array and render out HTML for each element in the array. And that is going to be a really useful skill for the future and for this course. Now, we're still getting these annoying commas here. When you're ready to
Join. Okay, now I remember. By re-chewing stuff, we remember more. So I would chew.
which is an inbuilt JavaScript method for creating strings from arrays. So what exactly does the .join method do? We call it on it return called CSS. So let's see what this is. And I'm going to set that equals to the original array up here that we're going to be working on. And I'm going to call the .join method. And because it's a method, I will give it its brackets. Now let's just see what the .join method gives us straight away by logging out this new const. A string, and we can prove that just by using type of in here, and that confirms we have commas. We don't do is pass in a separator to a array, and now that would work. I have no CSS classes. They are just in one set like that really very soon. Let me just close this console. I'm going to delete all of the code we've got on this page at the moment and set you a challenge. You probably remember from the previous scrim that to get rid of these. When you're ready to carry on, I'll see you in the next scrim. So back in our app, you can probably guess what I'm going to do. I want you to map over the dice roll array and save the new array to dice HTML. Remember to deal with any commas that appear and think about which keyword to use when you declare dice HTML. Pause now and give that a go. And
right, instead of using a for loops, So let's do this. Let's clear this out first. So this is what I remember about for loops. Like, you have to declare something in order for a for loop to run. Not technically, but it's usually going to push something into that variable. Like, let's say a list. If you want new things to be in the list, establish the list. Or like this over here is a string. You have to establish a string, and it's just going to print in right? So for .map, you don't have to do any of that. So we do, instead of using a for loop, map over dice row array and save the new array to dice HTML. So let's do const dice HTML equal dice row dice row dot map, right? And then we open, we do function, and then we do this. What do we do? Oh, computers, get out of here, computers. Values, call this num, right? Remember to deal with the commas between dice. So what we do here is dot join, then this, right? Remember blah 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 blah. What keyword should use to declare dice HTML? Suck my nuts. Save the new array to dice HTML. So we want to do here dice HTML. What? Let's. So it's going to map over the dice row 1, 2. So we do dot in HTML. In HTML, and then we have to do this. Let's see. Cannot access dice HTML before initialization. What is this? Why is it like that? Let's console log this first. Console log dice HTML. Let's see what is going to happen. Suck my nuts. Get out. Can we comment this out? How do we do comments in freaking HTML? So I see going to be this, and then and then why is it so fancy? What? No, it's not going to work. Right, we do this. We do unexpected end of input. Huh? Why is it like this? Wait. So we do console log this. Let dice const dice HTML is equal to, is going to map. Oh, we need to print out the numbers. Let's see that. Alright, 3146. So we do console log. We do can we do this only? Return this, how is it going to remember? That's a problem. Alright, we do this, and then what we do here is going to be num. Try it. Run. That's good. That's good. So it's already going to remember. It's not like a for loop where it's not remember.
I'll see you back here in just a moment.
I'm assuming that's how it works. Alright, let's see. Let's see.
And then we're going to call map and open up the brackets. And then we'll pass in the function we want to be called on each element of dice roll. So this is an just use the function keyword. It's going to take a number at least to match the situation. In the body of the function, these curly braces for num. Now, if I delete this for loop, let's hit save and see where we're at. Off the job we've got when you're feeling refreshed. See you there.
Generate random values.
It's time to think about generating some random numbers for our dice. So let's do that next. I've set up a challenge for you here. I want you to create a function called getDiceRollArray that uses a for loop to return an array of random numbers between 1 and 6. So each element in the array will represent one dice. That's of course why the numbers are between 1 and 6. Now, the function should have dice count as a parameter, and the array it returns should be dice count length. So eventually the wizard is going to have a dice count of 3, and the orc will just have a dice count of 1, and that represents how many dice they've got. But for testing purposes, as we're not actually going to wire this function up in this scrim, I just want you to call the function with a dice count of 3 and log out the result. Now, if you're a bit rusty on getting random numbers with JavaScript, I'm in a generous mood and I've given you a few pointers in this hint.md file up here.
Create a function that get dice roll array that use for loop. Create a function called function get dice roll array. Go to open, has a parameters for loops. It's going to be I, let I equals 0. We can do this, I less than dice count, right, between 1 to 6. And then I plus plus. What can we do here? I'm going to return the random numbers. Probably return an array. Return an array of random numbers. Return an array. Can I do dice roll? Math dot random this times 6, and then over it we have a plus. Do math dot for plus 1, right? This random should have dice count as parameter, and the array it returns should be dice count dot length. Should be dice count length. length equal this. Testing purpose, call the function 3 and log out the result. Console log dice count. Oh, call 3. C. Console log. Nothing happened. What's it? Dice count.lang should be dice roll. Dice count. Or is it like this? So it's return get dice roll array. Oh, I have to call it get dice roll array. Then 3. Let's see. It's going. What? Dice count length equal. It's not working. Call the function with the dice count 3 and log out the result. Oh, I didn't log out the result. Console log dice count. I might look so dumb in this. Dice count. New dice roll. There's no new dice roll here. Oh my god, we have to do new dice roll. Really? Right, so we do let new dice roll equal. So this is going to be math plus equal math dot floor math dot random. This time it by 6. Since it is from 0 to 5 now, decimal place included, so with +1 it's going to be 6. And then here we do math dot floor, and then this should be this. And then open this as well, right? +1. Now you have to lock it. Plus equal cannot be plus equal. The console log dice count. What the fuck? This is complicated.
For loop you're about to do this using for loop, and you might be saying, hey, you just said for loops were old school and we just learned to use the .map method. Why don't we just map over the dice roll array, for example? Well, yeah, it has the correct length, so that would work, but dice roll is just a temporary property with some placeholder dice values. Soon we're going to be deleting it. The dice count will be the only indicator that we have for how many dice each character has. And therefore, that needs to dictate how long our array should be. Now, you might have guessed that the for loop you're about to write doesn't have a very healthy future, and you're right, we'll definitely be swapping it out for something better soon. And I know it's a bit frustrating, but I really want you to see the different ways of improving on the for loop. So don't be mad at me, and I promise you there will be other options.
New dice roll dot push. Hello?
Opportunities to practice the
Forgot to establish. See? This is what I always forgot. So we do this. So we do new dice roll const equal to an empty array. So now we dot push push 3 dice count is going to be 7. Got this dice count. Console log. This is going to be new dice roll. What? I already pushed it in. The frick? Oh. So push the whole thing in. I see. Math floor. Delete this. And then this. Push it in here. Right. Run. Okay. Let's print out 7. I see. So it's push this value into the new side, which is like, yeah, now I see why for loops is.
Pause now, give this challenge your best shot, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Undertaking new dice rolls that we're generating. Okay, so let's get down to some maths. Now, how are we going to get random numbers from 1 to 6 to represent? We can start. Okay, that is the challenge completed. I'm just going to take away this console.log and just return the new dice rolls. And obviously later we're going to be calling this function using the dice count from our characters. So that will be 3 for the wizard and 1 for the orc. But we'll come to that in a later scrim. And when you're ready to move on, I'll see you there. Okay, I want to take a second just to show you something that might look a little bit strange if you haven't come across it.
Guys, I have to go eat now.